You know, I try and treat everything I create as like I'm a 16-year-old. What would the 16-year-old version of me do? I just try and impress people. That's even before you think about making money. You just want to make people go, oh, you're good. Hey, my name is No I.D. We're in the incredible Studio A of United Recording, and we're going to talk about music. Music is all about that. It scores our life, right? You walk around, you hear something, you like it, you look around and go, oh, what is that? You try and find out what it is, you try and get it, you try and put it in your atmosphere to create a better life experience, you know? My dad listened to a lot of jazz, a lot of George Benson, Kyle Jader, Sonny Stitt. Also listened to a lot of Bob, Marvin Gaye. That was kind of the early scope of things that kind of shaped my taste palette. Of course, as I got older, I delved into a little more rock, a little Pink Floyd, a little Zeppelin. I've always been a record collector, so I'm always just exploring new different things so I can find new sounds, new perspectives, new storytelling. I never had an idea of being a music producer. It wasn't a concept. I really only made beats to rap to. I grew up with Connor. He was my lifelong friend. We played basketball together, we rapped together. Whenever I made beats for me, he liked them. And he would say, let me use this, let me use it, let me use it. And eventually I just said, you're better at this than me. I'll just give you all the beats. What I did was I just tried my best to make people appreciate what I created. Sometimes it was just a little 10-second sampler, and through limitation came innovation. I ended up moving to LA on accident, so I got a place here, and I eventually met my wife here, and we both just stayed. She loves it. When I started doing sessions, I didn't like creating in different rooms that I couldn't gauge the sound. And I would always go to different studios and come home and listen and go, that's not what I heard. So maybe 2010, I would go to studios and go, hey, how much do you make in this room a month? I'll just pay you that per month. That became my model at first, to have a consistent place to work. Having the room was the biggest thing for me because, you know, I could experiment. Just having the world of speakers at your fingertips. United is a legendary building. I've been in here maybe 7 years. Once was Ocean Way, once was Western. It goes all the way back to the 50s. A lot of music royalty has graced these halls. I'm sure the vibrations of their voices still bouncing around some type of way, or their instruments. These rooms were built sonically, immaculately. You know, I believe there's energy in places. I try and be in places with great energy. You're not gonna get this sound in a plug-in. You're not gonna get this sound in just a building you bought. And that's part of what we do, we capture sound. I look at creating music like art. You can have different brushes. I usually gauge as a producer what I need. So I have multiple rooms. I have some that's state-of-the-art, up to date with Dolby Atmos. Then I have an analog room, which is kind of meant to time warp. I gauge which room we should be in and create a unique combination of equipment and techniques that mirror the style of music an artist wants to make. Over time, I just started buying all the equipment that I really wanted until I just had everything. A museum level collection that spans from 50s to the 90s. And that's outboard gear, mics, samplers, drum machines, synths, amps, guitar pedals. I'm a real gear junkie, to say the least. And I collect with a certain level of integrity, and I actually use it too, which a lot of collectors don't. I like them all. I like them all. The Juno 106 is always great. Prophet. I got a lot more sense than what's it. This is my overflow. I love them all. 5 years ago, I was doing Atmos mixes and becoming familiar with the technology. And I always viewed technology from a creator's perspective, so it was as simple as me making a decision, what would I do? How would I create with that much space instead of just 2 speakers, you know? The analogy I like to use is like when Michelangelo was painting in the Sistine Chapel, he had walls that led to the ceiling that went to the back. So the concept of what he was gonna paint had to change because what was the front? What was the back? It just really a perspective of where you were. A lot of the music that we create, you know, there's a front and there's a left and a right. But when you have speakers all around you, sometimes you have to throw that out, you know, which is what we experience as human beings, you know. There's one sound coming from here, there's one sound coming from there, and all these sounds create what we hear as life. That's the biggest adjustment, and there is no sweet spot. It's just there. I want to get into creating original content for Atmos that does not exist outside of Atmos. I think those type of risks are what I'm looking for because that's how you push the concept forward. You have to create a unique experience. Being bold enough to create those experiences in a way where people can gravitate towards it and appreciate it for what it is. I'm actually coming off of having my first child. I'm a girl dad now, so life has changed a lot. I actually took my first break from music for about 8 months. Now I use my time wisely. So I'm an early riser, and I pick and find my places to get creative, be home by bath time. She's making me write children's music. I just write songs, sing them to her. She's banging on the piano, dancing. It's in her blood. I think taking time off has made me appreciate music again. I think I became too much of a producer over time, and I want to do some beat making. They just try and make the best pieces of music or beats that you can make. After my little hiatus, I think I made like 120 pieces of music in a month. Like the old book says, chop wood and carry water. Just gonna keep doing, and things happen usually when I do, so I just do. That's probably what I'll do a lot of this next few years is do what No I.D wants to do. You just gotta create, and when you're gone, people talk. But that's life. That's what we do. We create, and that's it.